stuff that I'm really excited for. Hello everybody. Live from my grandmother's basement, we are the Trash People. I am Emily Pineapple.
And I'm Forrest, the keeper of the Canon.
And we discuss the person who you are about to see after the pre-show will come the show, Planet Scum Live. Chris Gethard talking to people. Usually it's a comedian. This week, it's his buddy from New Jersey. So, as always, we always bring you information about the person you're about to see. I know everyone's been really excited to learn more about this person. So they're a software developer.
Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about Gethard's good old New Jersey buddy, Mike D. You can find him on Twitter at Michael Dolan.
He's that guy from that story.
Yeah, he's the guy from the Grimace Gloves story.
No, but he's also the guy from the other stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Mike D is someone that Chris really, really loves, and he has a ton of stories about him. So we're actually not going to mention those stories in particular.
Partially because that's going to be what the episode's about. And so why would we step on
but we're
Papa
going to tell
shoes?
you about him. Besides having grown up with Gethard and being idolized by him.
By that, I primarily mean I'm going to read out his Twitter bio, which is that he's creative, UX, code, design, RPG, hoops, guitars, beats, and analog. And he worked at The Economist. And he's Jersey fresh, old punk, and an OG geek.
Yep.
And so it'll be cool to see someone on Planet Scum Live who's not either a comedian or magician. Yeah, musician. Music is also magic. But I think it'll be cool to get to see.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really
and it'll be
exciting.
a new gear with Gethard.
So yeah, that's our show.
You make that sound like we're ending the episode now, and that's it.
That was the joke. Yes.
Well, okay, goodbye.
No, we have more stuff for you. Obviously, this individual, Mike D, is not an artist, and so we don't have his things to show you. But in the spirit of Gethard, we're going to be watching some Gethard things, because this will be more about his past, his storytelling, his comedy. And we have invited our old friends on to watch it with us and get reactions. So we can invite Albert, Forrest's good friend, who is here on time.
There's Albert. Hello.
Hello.
To the stage.
Of course, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Albert.
Yeah.
Tell us about your friendship while my friend figures out his battery issues.
Oh man.
Matching immediately like the personas. Like, who would you expect to be late and then like realizing last second they need power for their battery?
I mean, you do shout chaos a lot.
And it's also like literally what I was doing before this stream started. And who's here on time?
Albert.
Yep. Delighted to have you. Please give us a friendship report. Tell us about your friendship. Tell the story of your friendship. And we want to see you negotiate between yourselves how you're going to tell the story. This is part of the friendship report.
Okay.
So we met in 3rd grade.
Yeah, so Forrest was like the new kid at our school in 3rd grade. And like a couple of my buddies heard about Forrest coming in, and he's supposed to be this cool dude.
There was like rumors about Forrest?
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Really?
And then,
what were they based on?
Well, I was a teacher's kid.
Yeah.
His mom was a teacher there. He kind of knew a little bit ahead of time. And then there was this other group of friends who we didn't get along with. But I mean, one of them is cool right now. But back then, we like...
Yeah, we're not holding 3rd grade behavior against people now.
Thank fucking God. I was a psychopath in 3rd grade.
And then they were like, well, you have to choose. You're either friends with Albert and that group, or you're friends with us. And I was like, well, Albert is not making me choose who I can be friends with. So I like him more.
There's like this little tussle, this little schoolyard fight.
There was?
Yeah, just a little bit. I remember one of my friends was putting the other dude in a headlock or something like that.
That's
So-
more than little. I don't know. I don't know my levels.
I
of
legitimately
schoolyard
don't
fight.
remember that at
I am
all.
a
I
woman.
think I was a little bit away
wasn't
from you, so I
involved.
just want to let you know that we did fight a little bit over you.
Really?
Wow, I had no idea that anyone fought over me.
Did you sustain any injuries in this fight?
No, it was small. It was,
Did you throw any punches?
I don't remember. I just remember the headlock.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's like the image that like reigns through.
Yeah.
Was this before or after you'd met Forrest?
This is like the day we met him.
Yeah.
This all happened the day you met? I thought that like time had passed.
No,
Wow.
we just really knew.
Elementary school kids are fucking crazy. I expressed my crazy by just like running around by myself on the playground in an imaginary world of my own. But some kids fight over each other. I don't know.
Yeah, we did for Forrest. And kids run around in their own imaginary world. It's a trend now with, you know, the new Noodle runs. They kids still do that.
Yeah.
That's very true.
We played a lot of Pokemon. We had a whole little Pokemon league that we made.
We did, yeah. Yeah, I was. Wait, which Pokemon was that again? I mean, did I act out?
Oh, I was Ditto.
I was Mew.
You was Mew, and I was Dragonite.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
In fact, I still have a Dragonite plushie I got from Japan.
And you got me a Mew figurine when you went to Japan too.
Yeah. Like,
Such cute
yeah.
friendship. My goodness. What a sweet friendship report. I mean, that seems like that would be the logical conclusion of your friendship report. We would go on to mine and then move forward with the episode.
We also played a lot of Halo.
We did, but we ended up killing each other.
Every time. Every time.
But my friend still isn't here. And not to like shit on him before he gets here.
Battery issues happen to the best of
I'm
us.
sorry. Sorry, almost. Sorry, almost. Well, you know, until we get there, I'm just gonna read the last couple texts from him that don't share anything incriminating.
Oh,
he says he's here, but I'm so
There he is.
David.
What's good?
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome, David, to the show. We are joined by Albert. Have you two met?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so.
Okay. David is in Minnesota, but we sort of grew up together. We've known each other since freshman year of high school.
I've known Albert since 3rd grade.
And we just finished having them share the story of their friendship. And so we now need to share the story of our friendship.
Oh, cool. It's like a cult thing.
Yeah.
All right.
We met freshman year. I remembered you from the first time we all got together as a class. We went to this like preppy ass private school because you had really funny stories about wearing a Pokemon shirt or something in England.
Like the Pokemon's the common thread
You had a
here.
story about how you introduced Pokemon to England. Am I right? That's what I remember.
Yeah, that did happen. I forgot about that. I was like 9, and
Oh, Dragonite! Oh.
I went to London when I was like 8 or 9, and like I think at the Tower of London where they have like the guards and stuff, they were like, I had this like shirt with a Pokeball on it that said, "I've got the power," and they're like, "He's got the power."
And it sounds almost like you got kind of bullied by some British guards in retrospect.
I think that's a matter of that's in the eye of the beholder, and I choose to believe that they were stoked and that I colonized the UK with Pokemon.
You recolonized them backwards.
Yeah, still raw over 1776.
Yeah. Do you remember me from that trip? They made us all go out to the Marin Headlands. We grew up in Marin.
I did not grow up in Marin.
No. You grew up in San Francisco.
That's right.
Yeah.
I do remember
I was
that
so jealous of you. I'm still jealous of you. And I live in San Francisco now.
Yeah, cool kids. The cool kids all live in the tundra now, though.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's because you're in Minnesota. But let us tell the story of our friendship. Do you remember me from that, or was I just like some random chick
I'm
laughing
gonna
at
be
you?
honest. My earliest memories are not of you during that time.
What's your earliest memory of me?
I would say for sure, like freshman year history class or Roots of Civilization.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah,
That was a fun class. I did real well in that class.
I bet you did. I had some moments.
Yeah, and then we basically like chatted online all the time.
That's
I
right.
didn't realize that you were the human who I was chatting with because we did not talk at school whatsoever.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, remember?
I do remember doing that. Yeah. I
Yeah.
had a very like AIM based interaction with women in my time.
We talked like constantly. And then of course, like junior year or something, we had like a wonderfully awkward dating situation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was lovely. I didn't notice you as like a person until my friend Caitlin had a crush on you.
I remember that.
But then she started dating a guy in the upper grade who looked kind of like you.
I was pissed about that. Like, that dude looks nothing like me. But, like, this was the thing people were saying, and it was literally my fucking birthday. It was, like, the day, like, before my birthday. My birthday was on Saturday. We were in Friday after school, and I was, like, talking about my birthday, and this dude, Jasper, was like, hey, man, you have plans for the weekend? I was like, oh, you know, it's my birthday. And he's like, oh, nice. Like, I'm going on a date. And I was like, yeah, with who? And he's like, oh, I, like, asked out Caitlin. And I was like, oh, like, because people would come up to me and be like, Jasper, like, great speech at the assembly. And I'd be like, who the fuck are, like, no.
But was it a great speech?
I think
You
my
gave
public speaking
great-
was better. TBQH.
Okay.
Yeah, you gave great speeches.
He
You
was
gave the
more on
valedictorian speeches.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't do that.
I'm also entirely picturing the old man Jasper from The Simpsons through all of this.
That would have been more satisfying.
So yeah, we had an awkward dating encounter where we still basically mostly talked online and over text. And then broke up after like freshman year of college, like mid freshman year of college, and then like just over the years kept talking to each other over text still.
Indeed.
Yeah. You see, it's we have like an intellectual connection.
I guess so.
But yeah, you're the person who I text with all of my like weird thoughts, and you text me things. I'm really excited that you're here today because I think a lot of weird thoughts on this show.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And they're the kind of thoughts that I send you.
It's part of what's gotten you known as the Terry Gross of Planet Scum.
Yes, me,
Oh.
not you.
Oh, okay.
No, you.
Not you,
You.
me. The last text that you sent me, besides like about all of this stuff, was hey, are stand-up comedians preachers?
Yeah.
And I've been like thinking about this, and like I've been thinking about this, right? I feel like I've been studying it. I'm like looking at communities. I'm looking at like community building. Like, what is that? Like, what role does that play? And like the improvisation of the audience just deciding to give someone authority, you know? And how that authority is passed.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely the symbols that imbue the authority too. There's the microphone versus the pulpit.
That's true.
There's
What did you think? What
pastoral
made
work
you
with
think
Gethard's
that?
communities.
Truth be told, I was like, I follow a bunch of randos on Twitter, and like somebody I didn't really like know or like respect all that much posted like one like equals one like unpopular cold take or whatever,
Oh yeah.
and one of them was like stand-up comedians or preachers, and I was like, huh, like, but I was also like, oh, god damn it, like, you know, I felt kind of rused.
Rused?
Rused?
Yeah, I felt
How
like,
so?
I felt
Like comedians tricked you?
I felt like tricked into a thought I didn't want to think.
Oh. I mean, that's
Why
language,
didn't you want to
man.
think it?
Yeah, because I had other shit to worry about.
I do picture you sitting by a window with an oil lamp, just like stroking your beard, contemplating, are they preachers? Oh, I
Yeah.
must write down my thoughts.
I was in the gazebo in my house with a beer, and I was like, ah. But that's pretty close. I didn't stroke my beard per se, but probably have subsequently. I'm not always aware of it.
David is also currently in Minnesota. You went off to college in Minnesota and stayed there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why? It's cold there.
It is cold there. That's actually kind of like the part I like. I basically was in a band after college that took off, and sort of built a life around that. And I didn't really, going home was to go home to the like tech changing Bay Area, and I wasn't really up for that. And I don't know.
You might have gotten tricked into taking a coding boot camp.
I might have gotten memed into all kinds of horrible things. Like, there's probably an alternate universe of me that's like polyamorous and vegan, and like, like actually, maybe the homeless deserve to suffer. Like, I don't know.
You are. I do think it's funny that of the people everyone on this call faced that choice.
Yeah.
And you're the only one who didn't come back.
Yeah.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah. We all came back. And so we invited you here today because we are big fans of Chris Gethard, and we want to show you some Chris Gethard videos and see what you think of them. When did you learn that we were fans and kind of like, part of a religious community now, if we're going to say our comedians preachers?
But I would like to repeat. I
can't get that thought out of my head.
I'll also just repeat Gethard's mantra that,
this is
not a cult.
This is not a cult.
I didn't even know. This is sounding increasingly like a cult.
Look, just because I give 10% of my income every year to Chris Gethard doesn't mean it's a cult.
Yeah, am I gonna have to like line up and touch him later, or like?
Maybe. But when did you learn that we were fans of this person, or who this person was?
At least a few years ago. I want to say like it's 2015, 2016. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's when 2015 is when I started being a fan of him.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
I think that.
What do you remember from my communications about him? If anything.
I remember you getting into kind of like, I don't know what you would call it, not indie, but just like comedy, like at large.
Comedy.
That wasn't like on TV per se. I should bring this up also that my like girlfriend now is someone who saw him in Brooklyn and was like, "Oh my god, it's gonna be about that." So,
is she there?
No, but in spirit maybe.
Maybe let her know. It's on Planet Scum Live.
Yeah, she should join Planet Scum.
All right.
And it's on We Are Trash People right now. She can see you and us talk about Chris Gethard.
But then,
so that's really interesting. So, like, what is your conception of who Chris Gethard is? I'm assuming you haven't consumed much of his stuff, correct?
Honestly, like, you may have put something of his on when I was over, but
that sounds right.
That sounds right.
Mental capacity was probably not at the appropriate level to internalize it at the time. So that's probably a factor. So no, I like in all like cognitive senses, no, I have not really consumed much of Mr. Gethard.
What is your conception of him and like who he is?
He seems to be a popular like comedian among improv people who also are the more intelligent versions of improv people that I know. And it seems like he moves people deeply in some way, or like he does some kind of like, I want to say there's some kind of show in which he like answers questions for people and that like gives advice, something like that. And that's about it. And then I guess it's kind of a cult.
What about you, Albert?
Yeah, any consumption of Chris Gethard has been with Forrest. So I'm trying to think, the first episode that I saw, I just remember a lot of chanting. So I guess it is kind of cult-like. There's a lot of chanting going on in the show.
There is literally an episode where the show didn't start for 15 minutes because the chanting didn't stop until 15 minutes after it started.
It probably wasn't that episode, but I totally believe it based on one of the few episodes that I have seen.
We do like to chant.
And I think the first episode was like a Halloween special or something like that. And I just remember there was like this camera in a phone booth.
Oh,
And, like going up to it and doing random shit, and then
You were there for Short Ghost.
yeah.
Yes, I remember the
Yeah.
short, and he was like just doing this, and then everyone fucking loved it. I fucking loved it too. That's all I remember from that episode, actually.
I love it. Was one of my it was my favorite part of that episode. I loved Short Ghost so much.
When did you learn that Forrest had become an aficionado of this person, Chris Gethard? And while you answer, I'm going to grab the cat and see if he'll sit on the table.
Okay.
I'm listening, though. I have my head.
It probably was
long
a
cord.
few years ago too. I remember him mentioning it, and I thought, oh, he must be some like TV host I never heard of on like CBS or NBC or whatever, one of those big networks. Then I look him up. I'm like, huh. He's not on any of those big networks or anything like that. And I don't know. It was a few years ago, I think.
That sounds right, because it was like 2013 when I first saw the Gethard show. And then he made the transition over to actual cable, to Court TV and Fusion. And the cat is incoming, so I'm trying to clear out some water.
I would just like to add that I meant to text the lady about this, and I ended up texting the wrong person. So if my friend Sam pops in here,
Hey, Sam!
yeah, tell him hi, and I will expect my marketing check in the mail.
I love it. Sam, if you are here, let us know in the chat. We will page you in.
Yeah.
Because actually, David, you've wanted me to meet this person because they're also a philosopher.
Yeah, he's on some levels.
Yeah.
He's probably an extremely busy guy and would be like, fuck no, I don't want to do that. But
I love that. So what is your conception of Chris Gethard at this point, Albert? Did you just say that? Was I completely distracted by the cat? I apologize.
Well, first, I really love seeing Gash again because he's not giving me allergies, but
Right?
pet him.
He's so nicely lit too. Like he's got this mood lighting going on. Oh.
That you can't see all the hair that's flying off of him. So
Yeah.
The camera's like selecting to focus on him instead of you guys.
oh yeah, I mean the camera knows what's up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But about Chris Gethard, I think the idea that I had of him was like his show just kind of allowed all sorts of different styles of comedy to come on that probably wouldn't be, accepted on the big networks or wouldn't have a place over there, and just kind of give them a platform to do whatever the hell they wanted. And sometimes it might click with the audience or it might click with a portion of the audience, and it's like a little bit for everyone, I think.
That's really cool.
I like that.
So yeah, we have some videos. We have exactly 30 more minutes before the pre-show happens on Planet Scum Live. David and Albert, you are welcome to join us for the pre-show. It is awesome. It's hosted by Jake and Molly, who are community members, and we play games over voice chat and other fun things because we're not a cult. We're making art together as a community, okay?
Look, it's a collaborative art space.
Look, it's a collaborative art space, and it's all online.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen a documentary about an online cult yet. They're gonna happen though, right? With video chat and stuff, because they're gonna like demand to keep
is there a Nexium documentary?
Oh, everything's a cult now. That's okay.
Okay.
It's literally like this is the world we live in now. Like everything that's worth doing, every like brand that people will actually buy from is a cult. Okay, it's just a thing.
Okay. Well, cool. We're a land of cults and advertising and cats who won't look at the camera.
And are putting their tail right on my mouse pad.
But we have 30 minutes before this happens, and we have some Gethard things to show you. And we want to see your reactions to them. We want to watch these with you. This was a way of keeping you captive, essentially, and forcing you to pay attention.
Like a cult.
To the thing.
Exactly.
No, but a show that we're putting on. It's a collaborative art piece. Okay. What do we want to show, Forrest?
So
I think we should show that stand up.
So the first one is it's a stand up bit from Just for Laughs, and it was posted in 2020, but I think it's from before that. So let's
this is from his personal stand-up.
Let's take a look.
Can't hear the audio.
Oh no, you didn't.
No, I did. I muted it. I muted it to.
There was another box.
It was a different box. There it is.
It's always a box.
So many boxes.
Wow, thank you.
You gotta think outside the box, you know?
Thank you guys so much. That's so nice of you. That's awesome. Thank you guys for being nice. It's good. It makes my job easier when you're nice. It's awesome. And I think you need to point it out. I think you need to take the time to point it out when people are nice, because people are not always nice. I learned that lesson recently when a guy on the internet said that I look like Drew Carey with AIDS. That's a thing I read about myself. That means some guy saw me and he thought that. And then he took the time to type that in a comment box. And then his mouse hovered over the send button. And he was like, should I? Yeah, he needs to know. He sent it and I found it and it hurt. And that was the weird part. The weird part was that it did hurt because I have a pretty thick skin at this point in my life. So I was like, why is this one getting to me? And then it hit me. It's not like Drew Carey is known for being a well put together guy without AIDS. It's not like AIDS is known for its rejuvenating effects. So what exactly do I look like? And I talked about this at a show once, and a guy came up to me right after, and he went, hey, man, you should lose that one joke. You don't look like Drew Carey with AIDS. And I said, thank you. And he went, yeah, you should switch it to Macklemore with Down syndrome. And then he said, I want to be a comedian too. And I said, I know you do. And then he said, I'm from New Jersey. And I said, I know you are. I am as well. I can smell my own. And I have to admit, this is not fair of me because it's my joke. I brought it up, but it does sting when you guys laugh that much harder at the Macklemore one. Because that just means you all agree, you know? Like, that means collectively, everyone in here was like,
oh no, the cat.
That's a thing I read about myself.
Oh no.
The cat pushed a button.
Gatsby felt like you should focus in on that part.
Canal, and I was being mocked.
Nope.
That's how my life began.
Oh
no.
All right. And she goes, when you were little, your birth thing. My mom goes, because I feel like once you know.
No, maybe we're done with this one.
No, just it's.
You know everything you need to know about me, like how I became who I am and everything. This happened to me 3 years ago on Mother's Day. I went home to New Jersey, where I was born and raised, had a great day. It was just me, my mom, and my dad. I'm getting ready to leave, and out of nowhere, prompted by nothing, my mom goes, hey, do you want to hear a story that I've never told anyone? And I went, okay. And she went, great. It's about your birth. And my dad goes, I've never heard it. And she goes, no, I've never had the heart to tell anyone this story. And I was like, all right. And she goes, when you were little and the other kids used to pick on you for having such a big head, it always broke my heart because I knew that when you were being born and you started crowning, like when you were emerging, the doctor took a step back and shouted the words, my God, his head, it's as big as a bowling ball. That's how my life began. That is the very first thing that ever happened to me. I had not yet escaped the birth canal, and I was being mocked by a healthcare professional. So my mom told me this story. She thought I was going to find it funny. Instead, she saw that I was kind of reeling from it. So she made a joke to cover her tracks. And the joke she made was, well, at least you'll never know how many stitches they gave me. And I went, oh my God, how many? And she got real serious and went, no, you'll actually never know because I don't know. They refused to tell me. And I went, I am so sorry. And I have to tell you guys, apologizing to your mother for being born on Mother's Day? Not a good feeling. Not a good feeling. So she said that. They refused to tell me how many stitches. I said, I'm sorry. And that's when my dad jumped in with his joke. And he said, actually, you should be apologizing to me for that. So that's how I spent my Mother's Day. Apologizing to my father for just ravaging the vagina of my mother with my bowling ball Drew Carey AIDS head. Thank you guys so much. My name's Chris. You've been very kind.
That's a lot. Geth went through a lot that Mother's Day.
Yeah. So give me first impressions. Let's hear from Albert.
I mean, I don't have any in-depth analysis of comedians.
That's fair.
It was funny.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What about you, David?
I kind of empathize personally.
Me too.
There's a long period in my life where people were telling me I looked like Ed Sheeran. And, just like regular Ed Sheeran, though, not like AIDS Sheeran. But and I also
Sheeran.
that was back when I had shaggy hair, and now I also like have a very large head. And
Yeah,
like,
me too.
I have a hard time fitting into hats, helmets, like costumes. I never liked Halloween because costumes were like one size fits all.
Yeah.
And,
Didn't the optometrist laugh at your dad when he requested the appropriate length of glasses he needed?
No, that was my grandfather. They did that to my dad about like the hat he was wearing. They said nobody has a head that big. Like,
As a child, I couldn't buckle the baseball caps I wore.
oh yeah,
I had to leave them unbuckled in the back. At best, I could get a single one, and it would be really tight and uncomfortable.
yeah. I could do like one or two, but it really good in the hat.
I have to stretch out double XL hats
Damn,
now.
now I
Hat
feel
party.
inadequate. I feel less cranially endowed.
Yeah, giving me a lot of shit for having a small head when I should have been giving him more shit for having a big head.
There you go.
Oh my God. I love it.
But I don't have that kind of, as far as I'm concerned, I was born via C-section, and that nobody in my family besides me has genitals, so I don't have to worry about it.
We're very lucky in that way.
Yep. a family of Ken dolls.
Oh my God. I love it. Let's watch the next clip that we have lined up. Let's see a scene from Career Suicide.
This is
his thing. This is his HBO special that kind of like got him the most famous he's been.
Yeah, I think it was. I would say it was his biggest thing because it was his HBO special that's produced by Judd Apatow. And this is from, I think it's from before the HBO special came out. This is from November 16th, 2016. And it's Gethard performing some of Career Suicide on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. So let's take a look.
Thanks. When I started seeing my shrink, she says to me, she goes, "Hey, you don't drink booze anymore, huh? How come? Are you an alcoholic?" And I was like, "No, I would get out of control a little bit, but I never drank every day. I'm not an alcoholic." And she says to me, "Actually, it's a lot more about your relationship with alcohol. Give me an example." And I go, "Okay." I remember one night when I was a student at Rutgers University, I was out drinking with this girl, and I really wanted to impress her. So every time she has a pint, I have a pitcher. I am just throwing it back. And really quickly, she's like, "This isn't cool, man. I'm heading home." And I go home too. Now, here's where I baffle myself is I know I've had too much to drink. That just happened. It was embarrassing. Still, I get home. My roommates are drinking. I grab a bottle from one of them, crack it open, chug the whole thing, top to bottom, throw the empty bottle on the ground. Now, my roommates are drinking Mad Dog 2020, which some of you have heard of. For anybody who's not familiar with Mad Dog 2020, congratulations, you've never been homeless. That's a good thing. Good. I do not mean to be insensitive, but let's be honest, the target demographic of this product is the homeless community. We were drinking strawberry kiwi flavor. I drank the whole thing. My roommates are like, "We can't believe you did that." I'm like, "You can't? Give me another one." I chug another whole bottle of Mad Dog. That's when this night goes nuts. I'm opening windows and yelling at people out on the streets. I'm getting in my roommates' faces, trying to convince them to fight me. I'm rolling around on the floor. And in the middle of all this chaos, my roommate Phil comes home and he does not size things up well. He says, he goes, "Hey, bros, I'm going to a frat party. Anybody want to come?" And the rest of my roommates are like, "Phil, no. And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm coming to the frat party, Phil. And I'm just going to do me, man. I'm just going to do whatever I want, Phil. And if anybody has an issue with that, I'll let them know that you're responsible for bringing me." And right then, my roommate, Dan, grabs me and goes, "Phil, run!" And Phil runs. He sprints out the front door of our house. Dan's pinning my arms down. He's going, "You got to chill out, man. Calm down." I'm like, "Fine." He helps me get to my room. I get undressed. He tucks me into bed. Nice roommate thing to do, right? I fall asleep. Should be the end of this story. Except the next thing I know, I come to again and I'm fully clothed and I am running down the middle of a street in New Brunswick, New Jersey. And I am wearing a Batman mask. I don't know where I got one. I've never owned a Batman mask. I don't even like DC Comics, man. But I am wearing one and I am running. Maybe from the person I took the Batman mask from. I black out again. I come to, I'm on the front porch of a house. I'm trying to open the door. There's a guy holding it closed from the other side going, "No, seriously, Batman, you cannot come in here." I black out again. I come to on top of a parked car. I'm jumping up and down. There are people surrounding the entire car going, "Batman, Batman." I black out. I come to, I'm back in my room, thank God, and I'm sitting on the edge of my bed, blinking through the Batman mask. And as I get my bearings, I realize that on the couch in the corner of my room, there are two adult men who can only be described as sketchy, and they're looking at me and I'm looking at them. And finally I say, you have to get out of my house." And they look at each other. The one guy goes, "Wait, what?" And I go, "You have to go. You have to get out of my house." And the other guy goes, "But what happens?" And I realize I must be in the middle of telling these guys a story. And they want to know how it ends. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So I stand up. I'm like, "Seriously, you got to go right now. You have to get out of my house. And right then, my shrink interrupts me and goes, yeah, you're definitely an alcoholic. Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
So that's one of my favorites of his stories. I think of it often, as I also behaved similarly in college with exceedingly less booze, and I was allowed to go wherever I wanted and do whatever I wanted because I was a young lady.
We also own a Batman mask.
I did wear the Batman mask out. I mostly wore the Robin mask because my friend was Batman, and then we would like break into and out of frats and like do whatever we wanted. It was awesome. Okay. David, first reactions on this set.
I can't say I have quite been there personally. I can't really relate, but I appreciate his courage in sharing that part of himself in this way. I don't know. How do you react to comedy? Like, oh! But
I do like to imagine that he actually stole the Batman mask from Bruce Wayne, from the actual Batman. That it's not just a toy one; it's the actual Batman mask.
You know, that's true. Like if you're out in New York or New Jersey or something, that's a definite possibility.
Gotham feels like Jersey.
Yeah, for sure.
Albert, first thoughts.
Well, I'm just bummed that he didn't finish the story about the sketchy guys. I'm like really curious about what was going on. I feel like I'm in the face of one of those sketchy guys right now. And it's like, what is he going to say? But yeah, I guess same thing with the last story. I thought it was really cool how he's like sharing his life experiences. And even though I've never, busted my mom's vagina or gotten pissed drunk like that. Well, I don't think I did anyway. I don't know. Forrest, you can probably confirm or deny.
I don't know.
Drinking part.
What? Oh, the drinking part. No, yeah, you never ran around as anyone in the DC pantheon of characters.
Okay.
Or Marvel for that matter. You were never Spider-Man or
variant. He's a variant guy. Image. Comic book words.
But no,
David. I'm so sorry. Please continue.
Oh no, but it's just it's just kind of interesting to hear like, oh yeah, that's what a piss drunk blackout night really does sound like or feel like, and I'm glad I never had one of those.
Yeah.
Or have you had any? I don't recall us ever getting like that before.
Nothing that wild.
You're you're a mild boy. I feel like you're all mild boys.
I'm much more of a Clark Kent than a Batman.
Mild at heart. I'm curious, David. I would like to out you as a storyteller, as someone who has written stories. You're a storyteller, dude.
Okay, I'll allow it.
Like, come on, man. My first memory of you is a story that I thought was super fucking funny. What is your reaction to him as a storyteller, if there is one at all, and his sort of how he does that, how he first person story tells?
I feel like I should have like a paper survey and like do 1 out of 5 or something. That's that kind of question. I think, he tells a good story. I'm not really one to, I don't know, I guess I do appreciate stories, and like I'm not really one to nerd out about the nuts and bolts of how to make one, but some people are kind of atrocious at it, or like get flustered and don't have that ability to do it, and I felt like sufficiently drawn in. I don't know, strongly agree. Like
I love it. Tell me, David, why don't you like comedy that much?
Wow.
No, so David's a music person. I'm not a music person. That's the thing. Is like all the good music I've ever heard was basically given it to me by you. And I listen to the things and I enjoy all the things, but I'm not a music person. Why are you not a comedy person?
Well, I wouldn't say I don't like comedy. Like,
well, I mean, I'm not a music person, but I don't not like music.
I think I would put it in terms of my experience with music is why is what I can't take in like sort of the scene in comedy, if that makes sense. I was in a touring band for many years, and like a big part of that, like part of that was cool, part of that was fun, and a part of that was just like sitting through like the fucking bajillionth dude with a beard and like a song where someone screams like an animal about like whatever like Lord of the Rings shit they liked, like and I could like slog through that, and I could put up with that because I sort of like had I had skin in the game as someone doing it, but also like I just appreciated the craft more, and I appreciated like I don't know, and it was worth it, and like I don't really have that relationship with comedy except as something that people send me, kind of reciprocally to what your relationship with music might be. And I really like in some ways I think like stand-up is a lot more difficult perhaps than performing musically, or like takes a lot more courage because like you're kind of on your own, and like it's weird to face one way and have like a bunch of people facing the other way, and like you have to make them laugh. Like that's like really weird. Like I don't know how to explain that to an alien.
How would you try and explain it to an alien?
I'd basically do that. I'd be like, everybody faces one way, and then we, and then we have one other person facing the other way and saying things that make us laugh or don't. Like, there's like this whole thing, like, there's this whole thing that I'm not really privy to of comedy. That's like, it's like they're preachers. Like, it's not really like necessarily like ha ha. It's like, oh, like that gestures at a larger truth. And if we want to get like super like philosophical and pedantic, I really do like earnestly believe that like art is the idea of like gesturing at something in general, and like it's like we make these things to like gesture at something that maybe words can't like literally on their own. And I think a lot of comedy does the same thing, but it's just not really my wheelhouse, I guess.
What about you, Albert?
Yeah.
Would you describe yourself as a comedy person first, or someone would you describe yourself as a comedy person, a music person, a something else person, a person, a non-person person? It's okay if you're an alien.
I'm like a little bit of all of the above. I mean, like I'm open to all these different like crafts, I guess you could say. Like I haven't like done any of these in depth myself, but I definitely admire all the work and the passion that goes behind all this stuff. I also agree with stand-up being like really terrifying. You know how like going into a comedy show, you're kind of expecting a good portion of your audience to like boo the hell out of you, especially if you're not like their thing, or if you bomb. You're like going in expecting boos, and whereas music, you might. It's like you don't have that expectation of getting booed as much. Well, I don't know if that's happened. I've seen it happen, but not as frequently as comedians getting heckled and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I remember when Forrest took me to like this movie festival thing, and then it was like the first time where I actually got to talk with the producers and the creators and all that stuff. And there was this one movie that I was like, what is this? This is weird stuff. And then I actually talked to the creator, and he did everything by himself. He like hand drew everything. I was like, whoa, that's a lot of stuff that went in it. And now that kind of gave me a whole different perspective on like what people put into their comedy, their music, their movies, their paintings, everything. So, I mean, I don't know. It's all around.
Art is beautiful.
Art is beautiful. Yeah.
So along the lines of artists, comedians, people figurehead versions of art, can create community around them. Is that what you meant by preacher, or?
I don't know what was initially meant.
Goes around and spouts. Because I'm curious if diving a little deeper into like the Chris Gethard, his whole dealio, are you tempted to watch Planet Scum live tonight? And it's okay to answer honestly. Obviously, part of Gethard's whole thing is talking about how other people don't like him.
There have been multiple episodes. At least one episode that was explicitly just, why did you stop watching the Chris Gethard show?
So you can answer honestly. He'll use it.
And then there was, should we keep doing this show?
I think.
Which was an entirely different episode.
I sort of feel like if I don't, like, something weird is going to happen to me. Not in like a scary way, but just in like a hey man, like we're worrying about you. We're hoping you're just touching base, making sure you're okay. So I have like this is like
I don't know what that means.
I don't know.
Hope that you can leave or not be a part of it. You actually can't leave.
Cult follow-ups.
What are cult follow-ups?
Or like if you initially go to a meeting and then you don't show up again, they may sort of be like, how are you doing, bud? You haven't been around recently. Like,
just want to make sure you're doing everything you can to live a dynamic life that you love.
Yeah.
Manipulate the shit out of you into coming back.
Yeah.
Dynamic life.
Like, we've really missed you, and I think, for your self-actualization, coming back to our seminar would just be so good for you. So beneficial, so growth-enhancing.
Yeah. Basically. But I don't know, like, it is like, at least Chris Gethard in some way is like a big deal to many people that I know and respect, and I don't actually know what the big deal is. So maybe that's worth investigating.
Yeah,
I love it. And so you still feel like you don't know what the big deal is?
I mean, yeah, like I feel like I saw like 2 clips of like a comedian. And like it seems like there's like a big deal like community around him. I actually was texting Annie, who may or may not be watching, my girlfriend, and she was like, and I was like,
Annie, if you're watching, call in. We have 3 minutes. We have 2 minutes
now.
She says, I have to show you the original show. There's something about it. It's not really entirely about Chris Gethard. It's about this larger thing he made. Yeah. And so I like the idea of there being larger things they made. And I really like, as much as I'm like giving you a hard time for being in a cult, like I think everything worth doing is kind of a cult now. And like that's just
I would agree that it's the show, the original show itself has that magic with the community and everyone who is involved in it together that is, I think, really what inspired the whole huge following that's still there to this day.
So what we're really saying is that we did Chris Gethard a disservice tonight.
Well, no, because I think with the original show, each is like an hour long.
That's entirely
true. You have to
true.
kind of watch one episode to really get the anarchic vibe, because clips can't quite capture that in the same way.
Well, we'll see what we can put together. But my question stands, and especially you, David, Annie,
we do
this
have 1
question
minute.
is for her too. We have 1 minute. Are you tempted to watch Planet Scum live tonight? If you jump on the Discord right now, there's going to be a pre-show. Everyone plays games. You can just lurk. It's super weird. It's awesome.
PlanetScum.live.
Join us, Annie. You do not have to out yourself as David's girlfriend. No one will know.
You can operate under an alias like Purple Hat. Like, yeah, here we go. Oh, that doesn't work. That doesn't work on ours, Andrew, but it's PlanetScum.live.
Albert, are you going to join us in the pre-show right now?
Do I have a choice?
But dude, you're in your own house. This is what I'm talking about with virtual cults. I'm watching you, and so if you psychologically don't feel like you can hang up, I can manipulate you that way, even though literally all you have to do is turn off your phone. Did I just write Black Mirror?
I guess.
Am I a genius? Awesome. So thank you all so much for joining us tonight on We Are Trash People. Go listen to the pre-show at planetscum.com. .live. Thank you so much, David, for joining us. Check out Maeth, Maeth. That is his band. You've heard it before if you've heard our podcast.
Or D&D.
Or D&D, Battle of the Bands. And thank you so much, Albert, for joining us. Thank you both.
Good night and good Klon, everyone.